welcome back to my channel. I'm Sierra and we are going to be doing a makeup tutorial today, and I'm super excited, but I'm kind of worried because I didn't really plan out what I was going to be doing with my makeup. We're just going to wing it today and just hope it comes out right. So I hope you guys are doing awesome today, and let's get right into the tutorial. We're going to go right in with primer, and I'm going to be using 2 primers today. Let me get them out. For my whole face, I'm going to be using the Claire's face primer, and for the like oily T-zone parts of my face, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. poreless face primer. And I have a little mirror behind me so I can see if I'm in focus. So if you see me looking like behind the camera, that's why. So I'm just gonna take a little dab of the poreless face primer to shrink the pores around my nose, and to because that's where the largest pores are like right beside my nose and right on my nose. Some days this makes my nose oily and some days it doesn't. So my skin, I have combination skin, so I don't really know 100% how to handle my skin just yet. I'm slowly figuring it out. But if you have tips for combination skin, let me know, because some days I'll be super oily and some days I'm not oily, and some days I'm only oily around my nose. Some days I'm super dry and I have dry patches all over my face. So I don't have the same plan like every time I do my makeup. Like I don't have a routine with like skincare, because it really depends on how my face wants to act, basically. The only thing I don't like about this poreless e.l.f. face primer is because it feels very greasy, and considering I have kind of an oily nose, greasy is the last thing I want to feel. So it's kind of a pro-con. Now I'm going to be going in with foundation, and I'm going to be going in with a Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 concealer and foundation in the shade 09 Tan. I really need to test out this product a little bit more, so that's why I'm using it. I've only used it maybe like once or twice, so I'm trying to make the best out of the situation, and see if I like it, and see if I got it in the wrong shade, or if it's good for like oily skin. I'm trying to test out and see how I like it. So I just pump that much on the back of my hand. I probably will need a little bit more depending on how I layer it, but I'm just gonna go right in. So I'm just gonna dab it. I recently went tanning. I know that's kind of weird for some people to hear like a black person tanning, but I recently went to the pool, and I kind of got a little bit darker, so I don't know if this foundation is going to work for me completely, but we will see. We shall see. And that only covered like my cheek, so I definitely will need a lot more foundation. I'm gonna make one giant pump. One giant pump. Now I'm gonna do the other side of her face. I'm curious how this looks on camera. Like, does this look like my skin tone? I find this foundation very interesting because it's a concealer and a foundation. So I think it's very cool how I don't have to put concealer on like my pimples and dark spots and stuff like that, because the foundation is supposed to do it itself. And I also like 2-in-1 foundations, because that means if you see a foundation with concealer and foundation in there, that means it's gonna have pretty good coverage. So right now I'm all about coverage. Oh, I didn't even tell you the brush I'm using. I'm using the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. Oh, that's backwards. e.l.f. Ultimate blending brush, and I've been using this brush to blend out my foundations. I used to use the, where is it? Where are you? Oh, I used to use a flat top brush, and I still do use it sometimes, but I like this one because it does blend out my foundations really well. So, and I love e.l.f, so it's like my favorite brand. Who is that? Really? Can we take a second to observe these beautiful pants? I got these at where did I get these? At Walmart, and they're just so beautiful. They're just so gorgeous. I love these pants. They're like rattlesnake, rainbow rattlesnake pants, and they're beautiful. I love them. They're a little crazy, but I love crazy. Gonna move on to concealer, and I have to talk about this concealer because this is my holy grail of concealers right now. This is the Born This Way Naturally Radiant Concealer by Too Faced in the shade Deep Tan. This is my holy grail of concealers. I love this concealer. It looks so natural. I just love this concealer so much. Whew. Sometimes when I'm like on a lazy day, I will wear this concealer by itself and use it kind of as a foundation just to highlight some parts and conceal some parts. And I love this concealer so much. And you don't even need that much. I might go in with more just depending on how I'm feeling because I'm super extra, but you don't really need that much. The coverage is pretty good. Like, the coverage is awesome, and it looks so natural. Like, it looks amazing. So I'm gonna put it under my eye to conceal my dark circles. I'm gonna put it on my chin, and I'm gonna put a little bit on my forehead to highlight my forehead. So when I conceal, I use the concealer as highlight and to like conceal dark circles. I'm gonna use my nasty, dirty old beauty blender, and I think I got this from Claire's a really long time ago. Don't judge me, I have to clean this, but I'm gonna use my really disgusting old beauty blender. And because I'm lazy, I want to wet my beauty blender, but I don't feel like going in and out of the bathroom, going to the sink, stuff like that. So I'm just gonna use e.l.f. Mist and makeup and mist set. That's what it is. Makeup and mist set, and I'm going to wet the beauty blender, and it's gonna make it a little bit tacky, and it's gonna make something to stick onto, and it's gonna wet the beauty blender, so it's gonna blend flawlessly. So it knocks two birds out. Kills two birds, one stone. That's the saying. Couldn't think of it for a second. But, and a trick that I like to do is when I put my concealer under my eye, I don't put it right under the eye. I put it like right here and then blend it up, because I've noticed that when you put it right under the eye, like right in here, you get way more creasing. And who wants a creased eye, under eye? That sucks. So that's a good tip. Because I get really, really bad creasing under the eye, like really bad. And I make sure I blend all of it out, and then we're gonna set it immediately. So right now, this is my step. This is what I have to do. I have to stop once I blend out my under eye concealer. Oh god. I have to completely stop and set it, because that's how like fast I crease under the eyes. So what I'm going to be doing is taking the e.l.f. High Definition Under Eye Setting Powder, and this comes in like a little tube, and I'm going to take the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush, and it just looks like this, like a big fluffy brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that powder, and we're going to mini bake under the eye, because I have to set it immediately or I'm going to be creasing all over the place. And if the mirror is blocking my face, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to not block my face. I'm setting only right under the eye. That's the only part I'm setting, and then I'll set the rest of my under eye with a completely different powder to brighten up that area a little bit. But I'm just doing this so my under eye won't crease on me. So now I go back to blending and I blend out my chin and my forehead. Now we're gonna powder up, and what I'm gonna be using to powder my face and also kind of contour my face is using the LA Colors I Heart Makeup Contour Palette. And what I'm gonna be doing is taking a little brush. We're gonna use this brush, and this is just like a flat powder brush. I think I got this on Amazon. Not 100% sure. I'm gonna be taking a mixture of this shade right here and this right here. I'm gonna take a mixture of those two shades, and I'm just going to put that everywhere where I put the concealer to brighten the area and to set. Now we're going to powder the rest of our face, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a total face powder brush. I have no idea where this came from. It looks like an e.l.f. brush, but it's not. But it's just a big brush. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some e.l.f. e.l.f. high definition powder, and this is basically almost a translucent powder, and then it's the shade Sheer. And so we're just gonna take some of this and take some of that, and we're gonna take it off a little puff and like the, I can't explain it. I'm terrible at this. I'm so sorry. Alright, now we're going to be moving on to contouring, and to contour I'm going to use a powder, and I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild contour brush and the e.l.f. contouring blush and bronzing powder in the shade, I do not know how to pronounce this, Antiguana. But it's like a really pinky shimmery blush and a shimmery bronzer. And this was the only, when I was in the store, I bought this a long time ago. When I was in the store, I have to find a contour powder that's dark enough for my skin. And the only thing, like, I love the shade. The only thing I don't like about this is that I wish it wasn't so shimmery, because I want it to look a little more natural. So we're gonna be taking this dark powder right here. I'm gonna tap out the excess, and then I'm going to be contouring and sort of like a light contour bronzing kind of thing. I kind of start from like the middle of my ear, and I stop right here. I don't connect it all the way down to my mouth, and I kind of blend it. I blend it in circular motions and kind of up and down motions. Does this guys happen to you? You can never get both sides to look identical. Like, whatever I'm doing, like, I can always get this side to look perfect, but when I'm doing this side, it never looks right. Maybe that's because I'm stretching my hand over and I can't get the same strokes as I normally would. Does that make sense? I have no idea. And I connect it down here. And then I will do a little bit more under my jawline, so I don't get, I don't have that double chin going on, Okay, now moving on to the brows. I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade Dark Brown. And then I usually use this with the Milani Brow Fix Brow Kit in the shade Dark 03. But we're going to try something different. We're going to, instead of combining these two, we're going to combine the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. So we're going to be combining these two and see how it works. I haven't tried it in a while, so I'm kind of curious of how it'll look. But what I do is I start from the middle of my brow and I start outlining the bottom of the brow, and then I extend the brow, and then I work my way up. This is actually kind of my favorite brow. It used to be my worst. Like, I used to hate this brow, but now that I played with it and I kind of got the shape I wanted, this is now my favorite brow because it's so perfect. So I do the same thing. I start from the middle of the brow and I work my way out and I extend it, and then I work my way up. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know which one's my favorite brow. They're both nice. I take that back. I don't know which one's my favorite brow. Now we're going to be going in with the Dip Brow Pomade, and the brush I'm going to be using with this is the e.l.f. small angle brush. You can tell I really like e.l.f. because all I bring out is e.l.f. products. And they're cheap, so they're actually pretty good quality, and they're cheap brushes and products. So I love e.l.f. And there will be probably a small e.l.f., like a mini e.l.f. haul coming soon, maybe. If you want that, let me know. But so I'm gonna be taking a little bit of the product, so I never want to go too much with this. So I just dab it and sweep it side to side very lightly, like I'm barely have my brush in here. And once I feel like I have enough, I'm going to take it and focus. I'm going to do the same way I fill in my eyebrows, so I'm going to start from the middle and the bottom, and then I'm going to work my way out. And I like my brow to look natural. Once it gets like in the inner corner, I like it to look very natural, so I'm not going to put any product on this inner part of the brow. Sorry about that. If you guys look different, like the angle looks different or something like that, the SD card was filling up on me, and it had no room for stuff, so I had to change it really quick and then get back to what we're doing. So we just filled in the brows. I don't like to put concealer under my brows because it kind of is a lot of work and I'm lazy, and it kind of looks a little bit too fake for me. That's just me personally. Some days if I feel like I'm having a really bad brow day, I'll just go in with my concealer, my Born This Way concealer, with a small angled brush or a small like square brush, and I'll just clean up the brow. But right now I think we're pretty good. Yeah, I think we're fine, but if you have every right to do that, but I don't feel like doing that right now because I'm kind of lazy. Now we're going to go on with the eyes, and I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Shadow Lock Eyelid Primer in the shade Sheer. And then I'm just going to blend that out with my finger. I recommend that you don't rub, because sometimes you can rub off the product. So when you put on eyelid primer and you start rubbing it, sometimes you can rub it off, and then when you put the shadow on, it's kind of a waste of time, and it was like a pointless process because you wiped off the product, and there's no point of putting on a product to keep the eyeshadows together, and then you wipe it off, and then you end up with like oily eyelids. Now I'm going to be setting that eyelid primer, and I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild eyeshadow brush. Or is it a blending brush? I think it's an eyeshadow brush. No, I think it's a blending brush. I have no idea, but it's a big, like, kind of big brush. And I'm going to be taking the Hard Candy birthday suit palette. I've been using this palette for a while, and the top broke off. So this is what it originally looks like. So yeah, I've been using this for a while, and it's all matte shades, and I'm going to be using this shade right here at the very end. It's not the lightest shade in the palette, but it's kind of like a flesh tone kind of shade. And I'm going to be using that to set all over, even in my lid and in my crease. Alright, now on to the best part. I'm going to be doing the eyes, and what I'm going to be using is the Carli Bybel palette. And this is my first time using this on camera. And I think this palette is really awesome. I didn't think twice about it until I was in Ulta, and my mom was like, hey, do you want this palette? Like, you like makeup? And she didn't even know what it was. And I was like, oh, this is a Carli Bybel palette. And I was like, nah, I don't want it. She was like, it's only like $12 or $14. I can't really remember. I was like, oh, that's cheap. Like, that's not bad for a palette that a YouTuber has created. So I actually love this palette. It's a little too shimmery for me, but now that it's summer, well, summer's almost over, but I think this colors in here, they're really good quality, and the color range and the pigmentation is amazing. So let me show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like, and I absolutely love it. These 4 giant palettes right here, not palettes, but these pans, 4 giant pans right here are the highlighters, and the rest of these up are the shadows. And I absolutely love this palette. It's awesome. I definitely take advantage of the matte shades. The matte shades are these 4 dark shades right here, this one, this one, and this one, and the rest are shimmery. Oh, this one's matte too. This one right here is matte. And the rest of these are shimmery. I'm not too crazy on shimmery. I have to be in the mood for shimmery. I'm not huge on shimmery stuff. But I love that it has highlighters in here. So I love the way it looks. I love the packaging. I love this palette. So I'm going to be starting with the crease, and I'm going to be taking the Wet n Wild crease brush. I have not used this yet. This is new. And we're going to be taking this really dark plum color on the very corner. We're going to take that shade and we're going to put it all over the crease. But what I'm doing is I'm putting it all over the crease, and I'm kind of working it in the corner of the eye. Alright, now we're going to move on to a different shade. We're going to take the shade right below it. We're going to take this really dark, like camouflage brownish green color, and we're going to put that on the crease as well, but we're going to focus it on the corners right here, like the outer corner of the eye. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this lighter plum shade right next to the first crease color we use, and we're going to take that shade and we're going to work it into the crease. So like when you look at your eye, it goes from like dark to light in the crease. I'm going to be taking the e.l.f. blending brush, and this is kind of like a eyeshadow brush slash blending brush. And what we're going to do is we're going to be taking a mixture of shades on our lid. So first we're going to start out with this kind of peachy, kind of like peachy shimmery shade right here. And we're going to take this shade and we're going to put it on the lid, but we're going to focus that on the center of the lid. And then we're going to go in with the shade all the way in the corner with this matte, like white peachy shade right here, and we're going to put that in the inner corner of the eye. Now we're going to go back in the crease, because now that we put lid color on. We kind of lost a little bit of the crease color. And I'm just going to be taking the Japanese. I have no idea what this says, but this is a blending brush that I got at Ulta. I would not recommend this brush actually because the bristles are very hard and they feel very cheap on the skin, and they kind of irritate my eye if I use them too much. They scratch my eye a little bit, so do not recommend this brush, but this was the first blending brush that I bought, so I didn't know it was going to be bad. So anyway, just take a blending brush. You can go with the first blending brush that I use, but we're going to go back in with the kind of brown greenish camouflage color, and we're going to go back and give us some more of that crease color in the outer corner of the eye that we lost. I'm just going to take the brush we used for the eyelid, and I'm just going to blend those two colors together so there is no harsh lines. So now I'm just going to take a e.l.f. professional eyeshadow brush, and this is a really kind of tight bristled brush, and I'm going to be taking that brown color we used in the crease in the outer corner of the eye. I'm going to be taking that color and I'm going to put it on my lower lash line. Be careful not to poke yourself in the eye like I just did. And now my eye's kind of watery. Great. That's amazing. We're going to be moving on to liner, and the liner that I'm going to be using is the Milani Eye Tech Liquid Eyeliner, and it's like a little tiny eyeliner, and this is in the darkest color, which is black, number 1. I thought it was going to be like jet black, but it's just black. So we're going to take, I kind of have to be silent with this because I want a long, fierce eyeliner, and I have to be quiet because I'm going to mess up if I talk, so moment of silence. Alright, once you have your liner as fierce as you would like it, we're going to be moving on to lashes. And I'm not going to curl my lashes because my lashes kind of are naturally lifted or naturally curly. But if I want extra lift, I'll curl my lashes. But for right now, I'm not going to curl my lashes. Oh my god. Dropped everything. I would use my roller lash by Benefit, but I'm all out. I'm all out and I gotta buy some more. This is my all-time favorite lash mascara because every time I wear this, people are like, your eyelashes are so long. Oh my god. I'm like, thank you. So sweet. So, just for this tutorial, we're going to be using the Maybelline New York 1x1 Volume Express. And I'm going to be doing the lower lashes as well. While we let that dry, we're going to move on to highlighter. And the highlighter that I'm going to be using is from the Carli Bybel palette. And we're going to use... what are we going to use? We're going to use this highlighter right here. And we're going to be using the e.l.f. Professional Fan Brush to do that. So we're just going to take a little bit of the highlighter, sweep it onto the brush, and we're going to highlight our face. I used to be not, oh my goodness gracious, do you see that? Woo! That is, I'm like beaming from the gods. I'm gonna take a little bit and put it on the brow bone, or not the brow bone, the top of the brow, like the tiniest bit. So I put too much, it'll look weird. And we're gonna use that to highlight the brow bone as well. So I'm just gonna be I have no idea what kind of brush this is. It's like a cylinder, but then it's like cut. It's like an angled cut. I got this from Amazon, and we're gonna use this to highlight the brow bone, and we're gonna take that same highlighter shade and we're just gonna dip the tiniest amount and we're gonna put it right in our brow bone. Alright, on to the lips, and this is the last step. We're not going to be putting on any blush today. It's going to kind of be like a... We're not going to put any blush on today, but since we have a dark plummy, brownish, really dark brown, plummy eye, our lips are going to match that, and we're going to use the e.l.f. Surprisingly, e.l.f. Moisturizing lipstick in the shade Berry Black, and this almost looks black, but it's like a purpley shade, and we're gonna put that all over, and we're gonna use that as our lipsticks today. We're not gonna use any lip liner, we're just gonna go straight in with it. My lips are kind of dry, but we're gonna wing it. Whew. Whew, that's dark. Alright, it's getting dark outside. Alright, we're all done with the makeup tutorial. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video, which may be a what's in my bag video, so you should definitely go check that out when it's up, and I'll put the link in the description if it is up. So I love you guys, and thank you so much for coming to my channel, and make sure you watch my next video, and I love you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.